What do you usually do when a tool loses a small broken piece? Throw it away and buy an expensive replacement. Do not do that. Watch this entire video and learn a simple repair method you can easily do at home with your own hands. The repair begins by preparing a clean opening around the damaged area. Hold a utility knife above a small oil lamp flame and warm the blade slowly. Gentle heat allows the blade to glide through plastic more easily and helps produce clean, straight edges. Press the warmed blade against the damaged section and begin trimming the hole into a neat square. Straight edges give the reinforcement material a stable boundary and prevent weak, uneven joints. Small, thin cuts remove the rough plastic while shaping the opening into a clean, geometric form. Once the edges look straight, the repair needs temporary support beneath the plastic. Cut a small piece of aluminum tape and press it firmly over the back side of the opening. The tape creates a temporary backing that holds the filling material in place, while the structure rebuilds from below. The next step prepares a special tip for the soldering iron that will melt plastic more precisely. Place a nail upright in a vise and strike the tip with a hammer until it bends into a right angle. This flat bent tip allows heat to press along edges instead of piercing through the plastic insert the modified nail into the soldering iron and tighten it firmly. When the iron heats, the nail becomes a simple welding tool that can melt plastic exactly where reinforcement is needed. Now prepare the reinforcement layer that will support the repair. Place a small sheet of steel mesh over the opening and trace the outline using a marker. Cut the mesh carefully with scissors until it fits inside the cavity without bending. The mesh will work like steel reinforcement inside concrete and help the repaired plastic resist pressure. Place the cut mesh into the opening and allow it to rest against the aluminum backing tape. The mesh now bridges the hole and creates a framework that will anchor the repair material plug in the soldering iron and wait for the metal tip to warm fully. Press the heated nail along the edges of the mesh where it meets the plastic surface. The plastic softens immediately and flows around the steel wires. This step locks the mesh into the plastic frame and prevents the reinforcement from shifting later. Once the material cools, the steel frame becomes firmly embedded inside the surface with the reinforcement secured. The repair can now begin filling the missing plastic area. Pour a small amount of acetone into a glass cup and begin adding small pieces of styrofoam. The foam dissolves quickly and transforms into a thick, sticky liquid. I know a lot of you are experienced and creative. So leave your best tips in the comments and share the knowledge with everyone. Continue adding foam until the mixture becomes dense and slightly paste. Like this foam and acetone mixture forms a plastic compound that bonds strongly with the surrounding material. Dip a small wooden stick into the mixture and spread the compound across the underside of the repair area where the steel mesh sits. The paste flows through the mesh openings and anchors the reinforcement to the plastic frame. Spread the mixture evenly so the entire mesh becomes coated. This bottom layer stabilizes the structure and allows the repair to build upward without collapsing. After a few minutes, the compound begins to harden. Turn the plastic piece over and remove the aluminum tape backing carefully. The steel mesh now remains suspended inside the opening, supported by the hardened composite beneath the top side of the repair. Now needs filler material to rebuild the original thickness of the plastic. Cut several small pieces of styrofoam and place them into the cavity above the mesh. Add drops of super glue directly onto the foam pieces. The glue melts the foam instantly and transforms it into a dense plastic filler. Continue adding small pieces of foam and more drops of adhesive. Each layer melts and settles into the opening, gradually filling the entire cavity. Repairs like this demonstrate how simple materials can rebuild damaged plastic without replacing the entire part. Patience and careful layering allow even large breaks to become strong again. Use the edge of a utility knife to spread the soft filler evenly across the surface so the shape matches the surrounding plastic. After the adhesive cures, the repair becomes solid, and the surface stands slightly above the original plastic. Sanding will now shape the repair and blend it smoothly into the panel. Begin sanding with 240 grit sandpaper and move across the surface using steady strokes. This coarse abrasive removes excess filler and levels the repair area with the surrounding plastic. Continue sanding until the repaired surface aligns with the rest of the material. Small ridges and uneven spots gradually disappear while the shape becomes smooth and consistent. Switch to 320 grit sandpaper and refine the surface further. Finer abrasives remove the scratches left by the previous sanding stage and prepare the plastic for polishing for the final smoothing stage. Spray water across the repair area and begin sanding with 1000 grit paper. Water carries away sanding residue and prevents the surface from overheating. Slow movements polish the plastic until it feels smooth under the fingertips. The structure now looks complete, although the color of the filler still differs slightly from the surrounding plastic. Finishing paint will restore a uniform appearance. Move the plastic piece outside to an open area and apply a thin coat of primer across the surface. Primer improves adhesion and prepares the plastic for the final color layer. After the primer dries, spray a red coat across the repaired section and extend the paint slightly beyond the repair so the color blends naturally with the surrounding plastic. Light, even passes build a smooth finish while avoiding paint runs. Allow the paint to dry completely before touching the surface. Practical workshop solutions like this often bring old tools and equipment back to life. Stay with the channel for the next project and discover more ways to repair everyday materials with simple techniques.